Okay, I'm going to help you fill this out. The first thing you need to do is take this, cut it out, cut this part right here off, and get this so that this is all glued into your notebook. It can take 2 pages if you need. We're going to start here with this number 1 right here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in Inventor. So this is just an Inventor file that I have, and I'm going to show you what these parts are. Number 1 is this whole thing here. This whole thing here is called the ribbon. This thing called the ribbon. That's this right here, ribbon. This right here, number 2, that's this side over here. This is called the browser. This is called the browser on this side. Number 3, this whole window here, that's this window here where my picture is. That's the graphic window. That's the graphic window. Okay, now I'm going to do these 3 little here. These are on the side. Number 1. Number 1, and it doesn't show up until I go over there and then the little house shows up. That's how I can get back to this home view. This is called the home view. This little house is the home view. This right here, which is number 2, is the view cube. View cube. If I click on one side of it, it rotates it. I can click here and click on these little arrows. And then when I want to go back, the home takes me back to home, top, front, right. Notice it says top, front, right. Okay, number 3, this thing right here, number 3, that's this right here. That is called the navigation bar. Navigation bar. This, we're not going to use this. Once you open it, we're going to close this with the little X and get rid of it, but that's called the navigation bar. So here, navigation bar. I'm going to do these ones at the bottom here, starting with number 4. That's this little eye up here in the corner. That's called the application button, right there. Application button. Number 5 is these top icons across the top. Top icons across the top is called the quick access toolbar. Quick access toolbar across the top. Quick access toolbar. Number 6. So we're now looking at number 6 right here. If you look right here, what do you think these are called? Those are tabs. Just like you're used to. Those are called tabs. When I'm on a tab, I have all these little things here that I can highlight with my mouse. Each one of these is called a command. That's number 7 right here. Those are each called a command. And finally, you'll notice that this ribbon is broken down into these little sections. Each one of those sections is called a panel. It's called a panel. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some hotkeys that you can make, or hotkeys that are already made that you can use in Inventor. You're going to write these down in your notebook. I'm going to write them on here, and you're going to write them in your notebook. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay. So F2, use the F2 key, or scroll wheel on your mouse, and you have to hold it down. What that does is it does a pan. So I'm going to show you that. So either push the F2 key on your keyboard, or use the scroll mouse, and it pans like this. Next one, F3, or scroll wheel, but this time just roll it. This one I use all the time. It does the zoom. I am going to have you actually write an extra thing because it does it centered on the mouse. This is the thing everyone messes up. Write this down. Pause and write that down. Okay, this is what it does. So I'm just using the center wheel of my mouse and I'm just rolling it. And notice that where my mouse is where it's centering it. But here's how people mess it up. They put their mouse over here and then they scroll. and then their picture's gone, and they're like, it's gone. Click the home and it comes back. If I have my mouse here, it centers it on my mouse. If I have my mouse over here, it's centering it on my mouse over there. So always be sure you know where your mouse is when you're doing it. If you lose it, hit home. Okay, next one. F4. F4. Or scroll wheel and hold shift. I love this one. This is free rotate. So I'm going to show you what this, write that down. I'm going to show you what it does. So I hold down the shift key and then I push the mouse wheel. Oh, hit the wrong thing. Push the mouse wheel and I get this little thing that looks like a rotating. And notice how I can now move it around. If I get some weird thing I can't get out of, hit home and it goes back. So again, shift and then hold the center mouse wheel down and then you can rotate it. This is useful when you're trying to see a part you can't see what you need to see. Okay, next, F5. There's no extra thing, it's just F5. This goes to the previous view. Goes to the last view used. F6 goes to the home view. So I'm going to show you. I'm over here. Here's my view. I tried the F4, which is the shift in this, and I did this weird rotate. Now if I hit just F5, it goes back to my previous. If I hit F6, it goes back to my home. I'm going to show you 3 more useful hotkeys because you use these a lot. Hit L and it'll make a line, and I want you to write these down. Hit E and it'll do an extrude, and hit D and it'll do a dimension. I'm going to show you how these work. So I'm in a sketch, and I'll show you how to do these later, but I'm in a sketch. I want to do a line. I just hit the L button on my keyboard, and now I can draw a line. And I can draw a bunch of lines. If I'm out of my sketch and I do and hit the E button, it'll do an extrude for me. And if I hit the D button when I'm on the page to do dimensions, it'll put a dimension on for me. I'm not in a sketch, so it's not going to do it here. But if I'm on a page where I can do dimension, I just hit the D and it'll do a dimension. So again, you need to copy all these into your notebook.